Now, I know you probably heard countless people talking to you about it in the prepper community, as well as other YouTubers and myself, but ham radio is definitely going to shine post-disaster. There's a lot of other ways to communicate, but ham radio is going to probably be the most organized, most efficient, and most information-rich one out there. So, this is a new radio that I want to show you today that I was made aware of. It's the ZASTONE M7. Alright everybody, welcome back. Now if you're looking for a simple, easy to use, yet affordable radio, this I think could easily be a Baofeng killer. When we first got the Baofengs, everybody was like, wow, they're $30, but they're really hard to program. So it was kind of difficult at first, and everybody got used to doing stuff with a cable on their computer and programming them. The biggest thing I can tell you about these is you can program them from the front face, like you do an ICOM, a Yaesu, whatever. Super simple to program. I got all my frequencies for this area in here in under 20-30 minutes. Really no problem. And the reason I did that is because I had to, because I didn't get the programming cable for it. And I'm like, well, I guess I better learn how to do it. I taught myself how to do it on the Baofeng, as confusing as it was. So I learned how to do it on this one. Now I wanted to quickly tell you about the radio. The radio is supposedly an 8-watt radio. I do notice that it hits repeaters a little bit stronger than some of my other radios. The 5-watt ones. I don't know if that's just different construction, and that's with the stock antenna, and we'll get into that later. But, like repeaters that I'm marginal on. If I go outside and try to key up and talk, and sometimes I'll hit it, and sometimes I won't on other radios, this one solidly gets into. So there's a possibility it's got a little bit more power than most. It has a 2600 milliamp hour battery. That will last you a good long time. Now I'm still going to look for another battery for this because I always like to have at least one backup battery. But that will last you a good long time. One of the things I like is the size. It's, we'll give you inches first. 4.3 by 2.4 by 1.3 inches, or 63 millimeters. The width is 35 millimeters. And the depth is 4.3 by 2, the depth is 35 millimeters. Height is 110 millimeters. So, definitely a compact little radio, and it fits well in your hand. It almost looks like one of those old school Nokia cell phones back in the day, when they started to have a little bit of color screen on them. So, definitely a cool little thing. One of the things that did throw me off about it is the microphone is down here. I'm used to talking up here on my radios. And I was listening to it on another radio, and I'm like, gee, I don't sound very loud. And I'm like, oh, it's down here. So you'll probably be, your face will be here, and you'll be talking here instead of up here. That's about all that I noticed. The screen is beautiful and visible in day or night. Let me turn it on for you here. And somebody's talking on the frequency. Let me get it off that frequency quick so I don't interrupt them or bother them. The screen is really, really nice. And as you can tell, this is your A and B bands. This is your A band, and that's your B band. So you can switch it back and forth. Easy to use right there. There you go. See how it's kind of marginal there. That's this antenna. I wish they would have included a better antenna, but any of the standard Baofeng antennas will fit this. And generally when these come, these are basically not that great of a repeater, not that great of a antenna when they come. They come with basically little rubber ducks that are nothing more than dummy loads. So, all in all, great radio. Definitely well made. That's the biggest thing I feel like this. This feels like a commercial radio, kind of like the Baofeng UV9 felt. When I pick up the UV5R, it just feels kind of like a toy, Now it works great. Don't get me wrong. If this is all you got, hey, you know what? This thing works. But this does feel more like a professional unit. You do have your dual plugs here for your headphones, and I'm going to show you a neat little setup. This is probably going to be the radio that I keep around or on my scooter when I'm traveling on it. We're not going to mount an antenna on the scooter per se. What we're going to do is just put one of those Avery, I believe it's like 1.5 foot type antennas on there. The ones that fold over. And that's probably what I'm going to do. Now, I do have info on that I'll let you know about in a sec too, because that little light up top is awfully big, and you'll have to do a little modification to your antenna. Anyway, that's the radio right there. The operating voltage of the battery is 7.4 volts. Supposedly, like I said, 8 watts. Like I said, I think it actually does get out there 8 watts because it's definitely hitting repeaters that it wouldn't hit before. The weight on it is 500 grams or 18 ounces. It's got a nice 1.77-inch large screen. Now, this does have encryption on here. It says encryption for more secure communication. I have not messed around with it, and on ham radio, using encryption is illegal. Now, this is drop resistant, anti-fall to about 1 to 3 meters. You have what they say as a high density antenna. It is a nice antenna. It's very well made. You know, you got a little bit of metal on the bottom there, and it does screw off very, very easily. And as you can tell, it's the same connector, you know, same connector as most of the Baofangs and other Chinese import radios. So, you have really nice sound on this. That's something I noticed as well. I'm going to try to see if I can find those guys who were talking before.
Yeah, things are going good.
I mean, that's loud for a little tiny speaker.
Going good. So, he's sleeping right now. 8 pounds, 13 ounces, 21 inches long.
Well, congratulations. Anyway, yeah, it's definitely got a nice speaker on it, and it's definitely loud enough. You won't have any problems with it. Now, the light. We were talking about the light before, and also, too, you notice this blue LED flashing. You can turn that off. I'm going to show you how to program it and turn all that stuff on and off. If you want to use the light, you turn on the radio. I'm going to keep the volume down so we don't have those guys talking, and you just hold that. And there you go. Cycle through your modes, real simple. Hold it. It'll move to the next mode, and it's really easy to use. So you have a high, low, and a flasher on it. That's kind of handy. I'm kind of gotten used to that with a lot of the Chinese import radios, because it's kind of handy to have a nice little light where you can go, oh, okay, there's my connector, there's this, that, whatever. So it is kind of handy. Now, I'm going to take this off this frequency again, and I'm going to walk you through the programming on this. It's fairly simple. If I can get it out of the right mode there we go. And I'll show you how it's done. But first I want to show you the menu on this. Let's get up close here really quick. There's your menu button right here. This is your A-B button. That's for A or B band. This is your exit when you get into the menu. Let's say, oh shoot, I didn't want to do that. You just hit exit and exit out. And this is your VFO mode and your memory mode, your V and M. Okay. So you see how that went into VFO? And if I exit out, it goes into channel mode. So it's channel 2, okay, and then I go here to see the frequency. I've always been a sucker. I like the frequencies. I remember the frequencies better. If I say, you know, this is the Johnny repeater, I'm never going to remember that. If it says Johnny, I'm going to be like, oh, what was it, 145, what? I like seeing the frequencies myself. So I don't even program in the alphanumeric stuff. Anyway, let me get into the menu here real quick. You have radio info here. Close and open. In other words, to turn it off. You have your power levels next. High and low. You have a beep. Now, I'm going to show you this. You'll probably want to turn this off right away, because it will beep. Let's do that.
Menu beep.
Oops. There. We want to turn that off. Oh, I didn't hit. That's why. I hit exit. We want to hit menu when you do that. Okay, now listen. Yeah. You'll definitely want to turn that off. It drove me crazy. You got your scan. You can scan through your memories. Your Vox activating. It's actually a very good box. It's actually pretty sensitive. Again, I kind of advise against Vox unless you really need to use it in an emergency, because it may pick up unintended stuff you're saying, or, you know, if you stub your toe and you're like, oh, damn it, you know, it goes out over the air. So, timeout timer, I have mine set to off. I'm not going to talk for 2 minutes, but, you know, I just don't like the fact of worrying about squeezing everything into 30 seconds. Priority channel, you can do priority channels. You can put them in there and scan through those priority channels. This is your squelch level. I usually keep it at around 4 around here. It's a pretty RF dead area, so there's not much out there. You can do your band sets here. You can do wide and narrow. Of course, we're on wide. This is your backlight timer, okay? You can do your auto 20-30. I keep it low because I'm not going to be staring at this thing all day. You know, on. It saves battery. This is your wait light. That's your power on tone. You can choose what you want it to, noise you want it to make when you turn it on. I have nothing. I just turned that off. At first, it was some kind of oriental sounding tune when they turned it on. It was like, da-da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, we're going to turn that off. Now, this is where we get to programming. This is your decode CTCS. This is your encode. Most of us are going to be using the encode, because the repeater will open up when it hears that tone. And when you press menu on that, you choose through whatever you want, okay? And you'll hear the guy talking. This is your step. I usually have it as low as possible because I like to be able to, oops, there. I have it down to 0.05. I like to be able to fine-tune things. I might be doing some satellite stuff with this too, so when the satellite passes come over and the International Space Station and stuff, it's kind of cool to do a video with this with my other beam antenna. Anyway, we'll move down to double work. What does that mean? All right, well, what double work means, and I'm going to exit out of this to show you, is you have two channels. The other way, you just have one big 145, 130 up there and not two channels, okay? Shift, of course, that's really easy. Let's hit that again, plus or minus or none, okay? Offset frequency, let's hit that. Now, this is programmable, so if you have repeaters with strange offsets in your area, you can program them with this. You can just type in the number you want. I have this set right now for the repeater I was programming in, but you can set it any way you want, okay? So with 2 meters, it's generally that. Back over here. Vox level. Okay, we're not doing Vox right now, but you can set it up, down, or low as much as you want. I'm going to actually close that because I'm not using it. And scramble. This is the encoder. Now it's scrambled. It's kind of, it has that weird kind of sound to it. I wouldn't use it on ham radio. You might run afoul of the rules. You really don't want to do that. There's supposed to be no encryption or encoding of messages in ham radio. Your voice sort will set you if you want to use Chinese or English on it. Key lock mode can set whatever key you want to be your key lock. Save mode is here. You can do it 1 to 1, 1 to 2, any way you want to save it. Reverse frequency lets you hear the reverse frequency. And if someone's transmitting very loud but you can't hear them through the repeater, you can listen on the reverse. Scan, you can add, delete channels to the scan. Roger beep, of course you're going to turn that off, right? Please tell me you are. Boot screen, you can choose between what you want. I just have the voltage there. You can upload a picture if you get the software. Again, I didn't get the software. Or you can get the information from the radio. I just put the voltage. That's fine with me. Language, of course, is self-explanatory, and reset is, of course, a hard reset on the radio. So that's really it, okay? Now to program this radio, okay, we're up here, right? We're going to go into the VFO mode. And I have 14652. Now, what I want to do with that is program it into channel 30. Now, I already have it in channel 30, so I'm just going to overwrite it, but I'll show you how to do it. The first thing you're going to want to do is that's simplex. Let's say it was a repeater, okay? So you're going to go into menu. You're going to go down to your, where are we here? Encode, all right? I'm going to pick encode is off on this, but I'm going to pick, let's say, 67.3. You just scroll up and down. 69.3, I'm sorry. Okay? Then you're going to go down to your step. I'm sorry, not your step. Your shift. Hit that, plus or minus. Let's say it's minus. Okay? Then you're going to go down to your offset frequency. Now that's just your basic offsets. If you took your technician license, you know what the offset for 2 meters and 440 is. So we're going to do that there. That's set. And that's pretty much it. Now, you're going to get out of there. You're going to exit out. You're going to hold this star button down here. Okay? So we're going to hit the star button, and you're going to see a numbers flash on the side. See how it says 22? I'm going to take that up to 30. I already have it in 30, but we're going to redo it. Then I'm going to hit menu once. And that's it. Boom, you programmed it. It'll save your offsets. It'll save your tones, everything. So there's no more running around like crazy trying to figure out the software or anything like that. Really, really handy. I really, really like that part of it. And you see how it says channel 30, or you can go to just the frequency. Anyway, I really do appreciate the fact that this is easy to program and a very, very simple radio to use. I've been very, very happy with it. I've had it for about a week and a half now, and it's definitely been working very well. Now, like I said before, I'm going to show you how I intend to use it, and I'm also going to show you the accessories here in a second. All right, very, very quickly, here are your accessories. You're going to get a charger. It is not a USB charger. It is a wall plug charger. I'm sure that you can buy the other adapter for it. Looks like it's a 5.5 millimeter plug. I'll have to do a little bit of investigating on that. I don't know what the voltage is on this. Let's see. 10 volts, 0.5 amps. So yeah, you could probably do that. I wouldn't want to go too high with it though. Anyway, that is the charger. You're going to get a bag here that has your screws for your lanyard. 2 little screws in there. Screws for your belt clip, I'm sorry, and your lanyard. You're not going to screw it in the lanyard. You're going to get the belt clip. The reason I haven't put that on yet, it's again very simple. You're just going to mount it right on there, is because of the way I'm intending to use this for the scooter, and I don't want to put a belt clip on there if I'm going to put this in a pack. So to take the battery off is kind of easy. You're just going to push up on that and pull it forward, and there you go. Real simple. Snap it back in there, and that's it. So it's very, very simple. It does charge very quickly too. I noticed that for such a larger battery, it does charge quickly. You do have an owner's manual here that is actually well written. Makes sense, you know. It's not written hard to understand. So definitely a cool little setup. And that's all you get, really. You don't get a ton of stuff with this radio. The radio runs about $74, and I really do think it's worth it. You know, we have been flooded with all these different radios on the market lately from China, and I tried a ton of them. Some of them I like, some of them not so much. I mean, I love my UV5R. It's a great radio to take when I don't care if I'm going to lose it or drop it or break it or whatever. It cost me $24 when it first came out, you know. But if I'm going to step it up a little bit, I have the Baofeng UV9R Plus, and you notice the antenna's off that. We're going to show you that in a sec. And this is, again, a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker, a little bit of a beefier unit, and it costs a little bit more, and I do have an extra battery for it. Now, the antenna situation. Let me move this out of the way. If you notice, the light on the top of that is very, very large. You know, it's got a big head to it there. So, when you put one of those larger antennas on here, the Abri, you know, the fold-over antennas, they're going to get in the way. You're going to have to modify the antenna. I'm going to show you really quickly. I did this in like 5 minutes with a Dremel. It isn't pretty, but it works perfectly. You're just going to have to take off that plastic on the bottom there. I'll show you when I put this on here. Let me unscrew this. Okay. So when you're putting this on, if I left all that plastic on there, it would interfere with that. So that's just a quick little modification. It's not difficult to do. You're not going to mess up the radio. You're not going to change the SWR or anything. And you see now we have clearance between that and the light. So what I like about this antenna, and this is I guess this is what, 18 inches, 18 and a half inches, maybe 18, is that this is going to be a little bit better for marginal situations, yet not ridiculous. You guys saw when I did that like 42-inch, you know, fold-up antenna. That's great if you're really stuck in an emergency and you got your radio out and you got to get contact with somebody, but not very practical. With this, it's a whole lot more practical, a whole lot easier to use, and like I showed you before, I'm going to try and put that back on that frequency here. There we go. You remember how staticky that was when it accidentally triggered? Look how nice and clear that is now.
Consider M7H1
W6UTC test. Had an ID there. W6UTC and test. Anyway, so you can see how easily that works there. Very, very well. Really gets out there. Again, with the marginal kind of stuff there, where you can't hit repeaters. I couldn't hit the repeater, that 2-meter repeater with that old antenna, and that can hit it there quite well. So definitely going to be an upgrade for it, and this isn't too ridiculously big. I do love the sound quality on that radio. It just sounds so good. So that's going to be what I use it for. I'm going to quickly show you the idea I'm coming up with for the scooter. I did get the back of the scooter and the luggage rack on the back. So I'm going to show you it really quick, and I'm going to wrap up. Basically, what I'm going to do, I won't bore you with this too much, is I'm going to take a magazine pouch and just stick it up there. Or over here. I'm not sure where I'm going to mount it yet. But it's going to be a magazine pouch. It's going to sit in there. And as you can tell, look how convenient it is to have that antenna instead of having to run wires and cabling and everything underneath the bike and run an antenna to the back. Just not worth it. So that's how we're going to do that. And that's why this is going to be the bike radio. I got my antenna right up front. Don't have to mess with it. All right, let's finish up. All right, so that is the ZASTONE M7. I would definitely say if you're thinking about spending a little bit more money on an HT and you want to kind of step up from a Baofeng, this is definitely the way to do it. And again, it's $74. Those of us that have been around ham radio for a while remember, when every HT was $300. So, and some of them are a lot more now. Like the, what was I going to say, the Yaesu VX7 that I have and the VX8 I have, they were both in the $300 range. So, it's nice to have that kind of mid-ground. that can maybe get somebody interested in ham radio. And not only that, can actually be a decent HT. The Baofangs are great for bringing people into ham radio, but because the quality isn't always perfect, and they're not the cleanest of radios, sometimes people can lose interest if they can't hit repeaters with the little rubber duck that comes with it, and they kind of lose interest in it. So this will actually allow you to enjoy ham radio a whole lot more, I think, personally. And it's a radio that will stick with you and you can use past being brand new to it. So anyway, that is the ZASTONE M7. I do have a link down below where you can pick it up. Like I said, they run $74. I'm not sure if there's a coupon code for it on the site. I don't believe there is, but you can check it out and see. I definitely am appreciating this little radio. I'll tell you, it's going to be a really nice addition to the bike. I was kind of thinking about how I'm going to put that on the bike with a mini little mobile, a 25-watt radio, and then I have to run an antenna and power. And this is all self-contained. It's all right there, and I can take it with me the minute I leave the bike. If I have to chain it up when I go into Walmart, whatever, I can just grab this with me out of the pouch and walk into Walmart. So definitely a cool little thing. I'm definitely appreciating it, and it will definitely serve its purpose. And I think if you're interested in getting into ham radio and getting a first HT that you're not going to need to replace right away when you need more features or a better looking radio, something like that is a good start. Quickly, I want to show you the accessory that I'm going to be using on the bike to talk on. I reviewed this a long time ago. I'm going to move this out of the way and turn it off. It does look ridiculously huge, but it's kind of cool. This is a big headset that I plan on using that has the correct plug on it, and it's got the little push button for talking. And I mean, I kind of like it because it kind of reminds me of like a pilot's kind of headset type thing. So that's the headset I'm going to be using for this. Anyway, that is just a little addition for that. But it will take any of the common headsets like that. Anything you got for Baofeng will fit this. See? There's your headset plugs there. So definitely a cool little rig. I thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check the link down below for this. And don't forget to check out our links as well. We have our Amazon affiliate store down below, our freeze-dried wholesaler link that can save you 15% just for clicking that link on any food on that site. We have our My Patriot Supply link, which is preparewithiridium.com. Down there you can check it out. And our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store is down there as well. Good time to get stocked up on some freeze-dried foods from any of our vendors. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.